In the headlines, suspended DCP Abba Kyari to remain in detention for 2 weeks as court adjourns bail application. Academic Staff Union of Universities extends its warning strike by 2 months as negotiations continue. Consumer Protection Council raids financial firms in Lagos. And on the foreign scene, 2 soldiers killed in attack on election day in Colombia. Hello and welcome to Trust News Update. I'm Dashan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. Suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari will stay in detention for another 2 weeks as Federal High Court adjourns ruling on his bail application till 28th of March. Justice Emeka Nwite, however, granted his prayer again to remain in the NDLEA custody till the next adjourned date. Academic Staff Union of Universities has extended its warning strike for another 2 months. The union made the resolution to extend the strike at its National Executive Council meeting held in Abuja on Sunday night. According to the union, it is concerned that there were no concrete offers from the government to convince the union to call off the strike and frowned at the statement credited to both the Minister of Communication and Digital Economy and the Director General of NIDDA to the effect that University Transparency Accountability Solution has failed the integrity tests. The demands include the revitalization of public universities, earned academic allowances, University Transparency Accountability Solution promotion arrears, renegotiation of 2009 ASU-FGN agreement, and alleged inconsistencies in integrated payroll and personnel information system payments. 7th batch of Nigerian evacuees from Ukraine arrived Nigeria on Monday at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja. The Nigerians arrived aboard a Turkish airline and were airlifted from Romania, where they had fled following the invasion in Ukraine. The evacuees, numbering 31, were received by officials of the Federal Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, and the Refugee Commission. This is the second set of evacuees from Romania following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which has left many displaced. However, unlike the previous batches of returnees that arrived via chartered flights, the 31 evacuees arrived on a commercial flight. Hundreds of people have been killed in Ukraine since Russia invaded the country, while over 2 million people have been displaced. 2 Ukraine mayors have been abducted by invading Russian forces, bringing strong condemnation from the European Union. Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission raided several illegal loan firms operating in Ikeja, Lagos State. Executive Vice Chairman of the agency, Babatunde Rukera, said most of these companies are not registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission. He said most of the companies do not have license to do business in Nigeria. He expressed the reasons that necessitated the investigation and sting operation in Ikeja area.
I warn you also that failure to cooperate is a criminal offense, and we have the will to prosecute whoever doesn't cooperate. And if you want to take time to go through this, that's fine. If you want to call your lawyers, that's also fine. But while you're doing that, I'd like to secure the entire location, including all the people who are working. In addition to that, I'd also like to ask you a few questions. And one of the questions is, can you tell us how many companies are actually operational? The problem here is that what these employers are using them to do sometimes is wrong. And you all know it. You all know it. But it's your job. So I am not holding you responsible for having to do what is your job. But I will hold you responsible in pursuant to what others are coming. We ask you questions and you cannot answer.
Fear grips residents of Shimfiɗa village after withdrawal of military personnel providing security to the village in Jibia local government area in Katsina State. The 7 children are reported dead and 19 people abducted in the village, in addition to several others unaccounted for. Abdullahi Amadi meets some of the people from Shimfiɗa village at an internally displaced persons camp in Jibia. The report.
About 7 of their children suffocated and died in the 2 vehicles that conveyed the few that were lucky to escape the rigor of trekking the over 47-kilometer Shimfiɗa to Jibia feeder road. The villagers left Shimfiɗa to Jibia town, leaving behind everything in terms of food, clothes and other valuables. Arrived this camp exhausted, tired and weak. The over 15,000 residents of Shimfiɗa village arrived in Jibia, while others proceeded to some communities in Madarumfa area of Niger Republic, where they are taking refuge, leaving behind a woman on labor, about 18 old men and women who are very weak and tired. These IDPs say as they deserted Shimfiɗa last Thursday, bandits in their numbers surrounded the village, burnt all the properties they left behind, and abducted 19 people who were unable to escape, mostly disabled and the old ones. When we left Shimfiɗa, the bandits went in and burnt everything that belongs to us. They burnt everything, almost everything was burnt down, and they took away some of our properties. Kabiru Hamisu Shimfiɗa, whose wife and children are among the abductees, called on the government to assist in rescuing their families and provide securities to the community to enable them return to their ancestral homes. My wife and my child were abducted. I left them there as I was confused. They have been abducted. Trust television camera captured about 5 old people who just arrived at the IDP camp, exhausted and tired. Everybody ran for safety and left us in the village. The bandits came and abducted us, but we were lucky. We were freed. They know we have nothing to pay ransom, and there is nobody left to pay for us. This boy is my grandson. I never thought I would see him again. I thought he was kidnapped, abducted, or he has died. Though there is no official IDP camp in Katsina State, there are over 8,000 internally displaced persons from Shimfiɗa village alone taking refuge in this primary school. The IDPs require urgent attention to cushion some of their hardships, especially food, clothing and shelter. There are about 9 of them, but at this point in time I will passionately call on the authorities concerned to come to our aid. We are in their need. Most of them here sleep in this open space without adequate conveniences and clean water, beside other basic needs. Abdullahi Ismail, Trust Television News, Katsina.
In politics, coalition of the All Progressives Congress youth groups has passed a vote of confidence on Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni for his role as APC leader. The vote of confidence was announced by the convener of the group, Bashir Binji, in Abuja. According to the group, Buni remains the chairman of the All Progressives Congress Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee.
Wish to use this medium to pass a vote of confidence on the chairman of All Progressive Congress, APC, Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee, CECFC, Governor Mai Mala Buni, overall as a leader of the party, and most particularly wish to call on the youth and other members of the party to disregard fake news and any other attempts and flop to destabilize the party and success recorded so far. No well-meaning party member will condone any distraction at a time when the Buni-led CFC committee has done so much in repositioning the party in line with the guidance of President Muhammadu Buhari. Since being in saddle, Governor Malabuni has continued to increase the fortune of the party. As we approach a very crucial transition year 2023, we must invest more in every effort that can promote unity and peace in order to further convince Nigerians about the continued willingness of our party to transform Nigeria further.
You're watching Trust News Update, coming up after the break. History behind Kaltungo brave men. Do stay with us.
The idea was to give the interim government confidence that there is somebody, a military man, who is well known, who can be accepted.
You alluded to the case of your son, Umar Farouk. Are you in touch with him?
Yes, he phones us 2 times, sometimes 3 times in a month.
As always, when I'm talking about late Abiola, I still thank my God for directing me on things to do when he gave me that leadership of this country.
Many of you honest Fulanis, you allow this man to cast aspersion on you.
You know, Zamfara is the mother of all bandits.
The biggest problem, if you permit me, is the fact that we have not been able to get the totality of our citizenry.
It's very, very difficult to have a fixed mind like that this one you will hand over to this person because you think he will do better.
I don't see myself under no circumstance ever leaving APC for another political party.
Here on the Mambila Plateau. And this is where the hydroelectric power dam is supposed to be constructed.
Most people in Nigeria are ignorant of the fact that employing a child as a maid is in fact against the law.
Access to the textile mill has been very difficult.
I believe, or I think, that if you want to make money, it should be in a place where there are not plenty of people that can do what you do.
From the way things are happening now, I don't think the 2 parties will make any impact.
I've been talking about the updates concerning the campaign of Nigerian Super Eagles in Abuja.
Bola Tinubu has informed President Muhammadu Buhari of his ambition to contest for the position of president.
To be self-reliant, a blind man defies all odds to become a carpenter in Gombe State.
The country is now experiencing a 4th wave of the COVID-19 pandemic with the emergence of the Omicron variant.
Talks are ongoing between NRC management and the union.
Welcome back and thanks for staying. You're still watching Trust News Update. Let's take a look at some of our top stories. You heard that suspended Deputy Commissioner of Police Abba Kyari will stay in detention for another 2 weeks as Federal High Court adjourns ruling on his bail application till 28th of March. You also heard that Academic Staff Union of Universities extends its warning strike for another 2 months as negotiations continue. Moving on to health, Nigeria on Sunday confirmed 36 fresh COVID-19 cases in 3 states and the Federal Capital Territory. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control said the cases were reported in 3 states and the Federal Capital Territory. According to the agency, 32 patients were discharged on Sunday after they recovered from the infection. Nigeria now has confirmed cases of 258,989 with 249,372 discharges and 3,142 deaths. In other updates, the World Health Organization says it is too soon to declare COVID-19 an endemic as cases are still rising in some parts of the world. According to the organization, the proclamation is not being considered at this time, but rather focused on what conditions would indicate that the public health emergency proclaimed on January 30th, 2022 has ended. Kaltungo Traditional Council in Gombe State wants historical heritage sites where brave men of the kingdom hunt for decades preserved to attract tourists to the state. Paramount traditional ruler Kaltungo Saleh Muhammad transcends to Pantun Mountain located in the outskirts of Kaltungo town on a special visit to the monument. Ibrahim Ismail follows the entourage and files in this report.
Pantun Mountain is naturally blessed with clean water, vegetation and a stream where people swim for luxury. For years, the people of Kaltungo Kingdom have been in charge here.
This is where our forefathers used to come for hunting. Sometimes they even spend 2 weeks, 3 weeks, some even 1 month. There is a cave, so big caves that you can enter. If nobody see you, somebody will be passing. You will see the person, but he won't see you because you are in the cave. So that cave is like a protective place. Like there are some birds. We have some guinea fowl, pigeons. That's wild pigeons, not domestic pigeons. So that's why they used to stay and lay their eggs. And some other reptiles. Crocodiles used to be here before. And baboons, gorillas, even lion and tigers, they used to be here. But due to hunting, the hunters are now more in numbers than the animals. So they are no more here. They are scared away.
The Kaltungo is on a special visit to the site in an effort to ensure adequate security in the area as he moves to upgrade the place to a modern tourist site.
And we have forbidden cutting down of trees or cutting down any shrubs. We want the forest to retain its shape like before, so that the place will be a real place of relaxing and all this. And we will try and liaise with our people who have money in their hands to come and build maybe a small hotel which people can come and rent and enjoy themselves for the weekend. That's what this is all about. And then to draw attention of my people, to draw attention of our youth, so that we cannot lose any more youth again as from today. And we hope as from now onwards, in years to come, maybe when you come back next year, you will see some difference maybe. And years to come, maybe you will see hotels springing on both sides of this stream. Thank you very much.
We appreciate it, Your Highness. Best of luck. People from various parts of the country used to come here to rest.
My name is Ibrahim Haruna. I'm from this village actually. So I came here purposely to come and bath, fresh water. That's in the olden days, our parents used to come here to fetch water. So this place had been a very good place and the water is very clean, pure. Nobody has ever drink this water and complain of any kind of disease or any kind of waterborne disease. So this place is a very good place.
The Kaltungo Traditional Council is now seeking for investors to transform Pantun Mountain to a tourist park for revenue generation. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
More on health. A Center for Environmental Sustainability and Development Awareness has commenced a sensitization campaign to create awareness on the dangers of open defecation in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Open defecation has been a recurring problem in most urban centers in Nigeria, and Sagir Ibrahim has the details.
According to the United Nations Children Fund, UNICEF, the rate of open defecation in Nigeria has remained steady at 23%, and as many as 46 million Nigerians still defecate in the open. It is in light of this that the Center for Environmental Sustainability and Development Awareness (CESDA) is carrying out a public sensitization and awareness creation on the effect of open defecation and cholera on children below 5 years in markets and motor parks within the Federal Capital Territory.
The whole essence of why we are here today is to ensure that we keep a very clean environment. It's on the wake of this that we actually, feel that we need to come around to Itaku Market, having identified Itaku Market as one of the largest markets in Abuja, given the population And given the reports that we commissioned earlier, sometimes in 2020, they actually named Itaku Market as one of the places that are prone to open defecation.
Mr. Olushola explained that the center intends to continue with the exercise in other parts of the territory to create awareness on proper sanitation and hygiene.
We want to encourage people to make good use of the toilet. So, and that's why, we are here today. One, to ensure that we clean up the market, which we have done in the morning. Then secondly, to make sure that we sensitize people. This continues. It's not limited to Itaku Market. We have equally mapped out some other markets in Abuja, as well as motor parks in Abuja. Arising from here, next week we are going to be going, to life camp, garden, and parks. So where is equally prone, to open defecation.
Some members of the market executive also lent their voices to the campaign.
Cleaning of environment is very, very important for every human being. As far as you are healthy, you need to protect yourself. That protection of yourself, it is even better than any medicine or having any cure.
The issue of cleanliness is very, 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 very important, especially with the women. In our environment, in our houses, needs to be kept clean at all times. We need to take care of ourselves, proper hygiene. In anything we do, our environment, to make sure everywhere is well cleaned.
We are grateful to have people who are thinking about our good well-being in respect of keeping our environment clean and sensitizing our traders on the habit of cleanness.
The high point of the exercise was the distribution of flyers and infographic materials, as well as the distribution of aprons to traders in the market. Sagir Ibrahim reporting for Trust TV.
National Agency for the Great Green Wall in Jigawa State has raised concerns about threats to the security and safety of its facilities in some communities in Jigawa State. Umar Garba, field officer of the agency, while on assessment of field investments in the state, decried vandalism and theft on facilities provided by the agency. Garba said vandalism of facilities is negatively affecting the efforts of the agency, increasing the environmental challenges and ultimately causing delay in the delivery of the project.
Most of these community people are predominantly cattle rearing people. As a result, we're having issues of vandalization of facilities, sometimes by the animals and sometimes by some unknown people. That is the reason why the employment of forest guards was prompted. And so far, I think we have about 80-something to 90% coverage of our facilities equipped with forest guards. So most of the challenges, we had them at the beginning. Sometimes when we bring project down to the people, like this orchard we're in, it's been voluntary contributed by the people of the community. It's their farmland. If you look at the shape of the plantation, it's not squared, it's zigzag somehow. The reason is because some of them accepted it while some reject. So they've been bypassed based on the acceptance or rejection. That was what made the shape to be this way. We have other ones that is completely embraced. The water facility here is a tube well. As you can see, these are the solar panels that powers it. It's working perfectly well, but the little challenge is maybe when sometimes the sun is not as bright as it's supposed to be or hot, it affects the pumping of the water. When the climate is good, it works perfectly. The advice I have for the community is to ensure the sustainability of everything that has been planted here. That's for them to take care of it. It will make a great impact on them as a part of their livelihood. It will create shades.
In business, oil prices dropped 3% on Monday amid reinforced diplomatic efforts to end the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Brent crude, the global oil benchmark, shed 3.20%, trading at $109.1 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate also declined over 3% to $105.5 a barrel. According to reports, the development is coming on the heels of the meeting between Ukraine and Russian negotiators on Monday by video link after both sides cited progress. Negotiators had given their most optimistic assessment after weekend negotiations, hinting there could be positive results within days. The issue intensified as the United States banned the importation of coal, gas, and oil from Russia, a major oil exporter which accounts for about 7 million barrels per day of crude and refined fuel, representing around 7% of global supplies. In Nigeria, it is expected that the downward trend in oil prices would provide succor to increasing diesel prices, while at the same time reducing importation expenses on refined petroleum products. The price of automotive gas oil, also known as diesel, had surpassed 600 naira per litre after crossing the 500 naira mark at X-Depot. On the foreign scene, at least 2 soldiers were killed and 2 more injured in attacks in Colombia on Sunday as the Latin American country went to the polls in parliamentary elections. According to the armed forces, the 2 men were killed in explosions in the department of Caqueta in Colombia's south and in the central department of Meta. About 73,000 soldiers were deployed across the country to keep candidates and voters safe. A total of 188 seats in the House of Representatives and 108 seats in the Senate were up for election on Sunday. And finally, on sports, Lobi Stars management has sacked Eddie Dombre as the club's manager after a disappointing home loss to Abia Warriors. The vice chairman of Lobi Stars announced the sack, also dissolving the club's technical crew. Meanwhile, coach Eugene Agabe will now act as interim coach to be assisted by goalkeepers coach Sam Adingi. With that, we've come to the end of Trust News Update. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.